Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care Network. My name is Candace Gish, and I'm the host of this program. Well, I'm so excited that each and every one of you has tuned in for today's call. I'm going to be welcoming back one of our divas, and her name is Esta Bernstein, and I'm very excited to have her on today's program. She's actually going to be talking about a book she wrote, and I can't wait to see what's been happening in her life. For any of you that have just tuned in for the very first time, the Divas That Care Network has been around now for 10 years. We have a whole bunch of amazing hosts on the Divas That Care Network, and you can listen to them at divasthatcare.com. So make sure you check out those amazing women and all of their podcasts that are available. Well, let's get started, everyone. Well, Esta, I'm just so excited to have you back to the program again.
Thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited. This is going to be fantastic. But before we kind of dive into the things that you're doing now, would you mind just spending a couple of minutes reintroducing yourself to maybe some of our new listeners today?
Sure. My name is Esta Bernstein. I am the founder of Sapphire Sanctuary, a horse rescue in the Los Angeles area, and we've been in business for about 12 years now, and I just completed my autobiography in February of this year entitled Changing Horses, which explains how the rescue got started and what impact horses made throughout my life, basically physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Oh, my goodness. That's exciting. And when did this book launch? Because we've had you on the program before, and you had mentioned that you were going to be writing a book, but when did this come out?
The book actually was launched on February 2nd, 2020.
Oh, that's excellent. And for any of you that are looking and would love to read this book, because this is a great time. A lot of us, we're at home and we're always looking for a great book to read. Where can a person go and check this out? We are going to talk a little bit more about the book, but where can a person go and read this?
So it's available on Amazon. It's available on our website, Sapphire Sanctuary. It's currently available in an ebook and in paperback and hardcover on the way.
Oh, perfect. And this will be great because a lot of people, especially knowing that it is an ebook too, a lot of us have been taking full advantage of that lately. I know that I have. I'm constantly looking for some more books because, in the evenings, instead of driving my kids to all their activities now, I can stay home and do stuff for myself. And I absolutely, to be honest, I love it.
I am with you. I think, without trying to sound insensitive to anybody's plight or what they're going through, this is really a beautiful time to watch Mother Earth heal and to have people really know what it's like to finally be able to take care of themselves. I think this is a really important time in our evolution to recalibrate what's been going on, and Changing Horses does touch on that quite deeply.
That's perfect. And we'll definitely be posting after our program today a link for your book so that people can go check it out, because I think it's really important to do that and really support the authors that are out there today. We want to be able to do that, and having you on the program, we want to be able to support you also, Esta. So I'm going to kind of dive back a little bit. You are the founder of an amazing horse rescue sanctuary. And for any of our ladies, our listeners that did not know that and didn't listen to our first program, could we kind of dive back and talk a little bit about that?
Sure. What would you like to know about?
Well, let's just start. Why did you decide to start a sanctuary?
I started to decide a sanctuary. I saw some horse abuse as a child, and I actually made a soul contract with the horses to say I was going to do something about this. And, when you're a child, you really don't know what to do. I hadn't explored what options were available, but somehow I needed to make what I saw right. And so it's always been a lifelong dream for me to be a voice for these animals that have been used and misunderstood, and something that people have utilized as tools of their trade or competitions or things like that. And I knew there was just something more to them that I think people needed to know. So I wanted to share what they could do. I needed to go through that experience myself. And there's more cases of abuse than we know of, and the different types of abuse that horses go through. A lot of it isn't very apparent. Some of it comes from just emotional neglect. They do have a need to connect with us, just like our household pets, our dogs and our cats. And when they don't get that from a human, they get quite depressed, and I don't think people realize their sensitivity.
And that is so true. I had the opportunity to live on a horse ranch. My mom had been raising horses for many years, and, growing up with animals is such a huge thing. And I always talk about that because it made, I think in a lot of ways, it made me who I was, being able to have those moments to be able to share, and not necessarily you can share things with people all the time. Sometimes you just need to be able to talk it out and to be around animals. I always felt so much comfort being around them. I was always so much more relaxed, and it was just such a pleasure being able to be with my horses every night.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that you've done, too, is in regards, also to your sanctuary and the book that you wrote about the journey. It sounds like the entire journey. You also have a film. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. I find it quite interesting. Is the film about the book? Is it Changing Horses? Is that what the film is all about?
It's a kind of funny story. So back in 2014, I was kind of called upon to do this film, Changing Horses. And so we went through the interview process and, traveled all over, interviewed very prominent individuals in the industry. And I got back, 18 months later, I started doing the edits and cut everything down and realized that nobody would really understand why I was asking the questions that I was asking in the film. And that was actually part of the reason that the book needed to come out, because there was no background as to these questions. So the film actually isn't done. The book needed to be completed first. My journey had to be completed as far as up to this point, and then we're going back and revisiting the film. So we're hoping that with the book, we'll get some interest and people to help finish and complete the film.
Oh, I love that. And that is so exciting to know that you could be a part of an amazing film to really showcase what you've been doing.
Yeah, it's an interesting journey, and it now feels more complete and really where it was supposed to be. Anybody who's been in the film business knows that sometimes things sit in the can for 10 years until they're ready to give birth, and this seems to be one of those things where it's just going to be ready when it's ready. The book did not take that long to complete because that story obviously was already written, within my mind and my things, but the film's a different piece of art, and I'm really looking forward to see what's going to come out of it, whether it's going to wind up staying a documentary or it's going to turn into a feature.
Oh, that's exciting. I always find it amazing when I listen to stories of a woman's journey and how, what it's leading to. And it sounds absolutely amazing. And, I loved our first interview when we got to know each other a little bit better, and we were talking about a lot of things, and to see how far you've evolved quite a bit in that process and, finishing your book and really diving towards this. But I want to talk more about the horses, and I want to talk about the workshops that you offer, because a lot of people would probably be quite interested in that part of your journey too. Yes.
So part of the journey was a huge learning for me, and that included coming up with a coaching, workshop and classes and things like that the horses wanted us to learn and that I teach on an individual basis. The name of the course or the program is called Equalia Actualization. Equalia meaning through the eyes of the horse, and actualization meaning part of Maslow's theory of self-actualization. So how do you find yourself? By looking through the eyes of the horse, using them as your mirror and your guide to finding your true purpose and standing in your own power. had trouble as my journey unfolded doing that with a human being, but horses being as honest as they are and not being able to lie, they didn't give me much of a choice to see where I needed to make some adjustments. And so the program that they actually asked me to develop brings the elements of equine communication, natural horsemanship, and spirituality that will bring you to a new level of self-awareness.
Wow. And that is so strong. And it is something that we all need. And I should probably ask you, how are you able to do that now? Obviously the workshops probably aren't taking place at this moment. Are you able to, kind of plan for the future?
I have toyed with the idea of doing something online. The issue really is that you have to be in the presence of a physical horse. I don't think that this is something that is going to be able to be taught to its full effectiveness on a Zoom or anything like that, because I'm not going to be able to get the feedback from the horse with the clients. So I've made the decision to actually just put this on hold, or if somebody really needs to come out and do a session, then we'll do a workaround. Even though everything's kind of on lockdown, our organization is quite small and we don't have a lot of traffic or volunteers going in at this point. So it is relatively safe, but obviously that's going to be everybody's individual decision whether they want to come out and get some fresh air. The volunteers that do come, they've been with us for a long time, and we're taking all the necessary safety precautions as with any other business.
Yeah, and I was going to say that's probably the best thing to do. And with an organization like yourself, you do definitely depend on a lot of volunteers in order to make it work. And I always talk about to a lot of people these days, and I feel so bad for a lot of these organizations because it's hard to make sure that, your animals are taken care of properly if you have nobody there to be able to do it. So a big shout out to all the amazing volunteers that are helping you keep this going in order to keep these animals healthy and safe. I just think it's amazing.
Thank you. And it has been challenging. A big part of our revenue was, the donors that now, may be unemployed, or, we also had an Airbnb program where we give them an experience with the horses, and Airbnb has shut that down totally. So pretty much at least 2/3 of our revenue has stopped, and the horses in our program still need to eat. So while not doing a plea for money here, it's just important to know that organizations like ourselves and other sanctuaries are in need of whatever they can get in order to keep the animals that are not adoptable still cared for and fed.
And can I ask you, for any of our listeners today, how can they perhaps donate? Is there things that they can send you? Or are you basically looking just for like a cash donation, or is there specific things they can just send out to you?
Cash right now is the main thing. We have a donate button on our website, sapphiresanctuary.org. Sapphire being spelled SAFF as in Frank, YRE. That's really what we need so we can get hay and shavings and supplies and such. We have to go to the feed store to get those things. So unless somebody was going to go pick those up and deliver them for us, it really is just best to have the cash.
Yeah, and that is completely understandable. Oh, my goodness. Well, you definitely have a lot on your plate in regards to that. But what is next for you? Is there a second book coming out? You've done your autobiography, and now you've got the film that you're working towards. Is there another book perhaps coming out in your future?
Probably in the future, maybe in about a year or so. It's kind of cooking it right now. A lot of people that have read the book, they are interested in more detail about the program that evolved from this. So I believe the second book will be an extension of the program outline at the back of the book and elaborating a bit more about what the horses have to teach.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to love reading that too because I think it's so important. I'm actually excited, Esta, to be able to go and get your book. this evening. I want to go and read that because I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I love autobiographies to begin with. And as with being with the Divas That Care, I love listening to amazing stories and, really getting to know who a person is and all about them. So I want to thank you so much for that and sharing that with us. Is there any other things you'd love to share with our listeners today?
Sure. If they would like a copy of the book, like I had said earlier, the film actually came out before the book, or at least the trailer. So if they'd like a copy of the book, they can go to our main website, Sapphire Sanctuary, and click the link Buy the Book. Or if they'd like to see about what the film and the book is about, there is a website, changinghorsesthefilm.com, and there's also a book page link on there, as well as an about the author. For the readers, for the next 48 hours, if anybody references Divas That Care and they send me an email on our contact page, I would love to send them a free copy of the ebook and see if that's something that we can just get more out into the public. I think the message that is in here is really important to share.
I do too. Thank you so much. And you know what? All of you definitely need to go check out her beautiful, beautiful website. It's one of the nicest ones I've seen. I love it because I love looking at horses to begin with, but it's very relaxing. And the pictures of you and the horses are just absolutely gorgeous. So I want everybody to check it out. Check out all the things that this amazing diva is doing. And I'm just always so excited when I get to have the opportunity to chat with you. And I want to thank you so much for spending the time with me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
It was so much fun. And I want to thank all of our amazing listeners. It's because of all of you that we've continued to do this program for 10 years. Thank you so much for supporting all of our amazing guests that have been on our program. It's so important nowadays to go and check out these women, see what they are doing. Perhaps you can go and help them in the things that they are doing. A lot of our diva guests are a part of a lot of causes, because the Divas That Care is all about causes and the things that people are doing out there. So please help where you can. There's a lot of need out there, and please make sure you do something kind for somebody else. And until next time, have a fantastic day, everyone, and stay safe. Bye-bye for now.